This is the best of the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball and Mark.
Johnny, hello, you there?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, dude? Johnny Gargano, how are you, brother?
How you doing, guys?
Doing great, man.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to this Sunday, man, and we just want to welcome the first NXT Triple Crown champion, Johnny Gargano, to the Rocker Morning Show.
It's a pleasure to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. We're happy to have you here. Happy for Sunday. Wings Event Center going to be here for the holiday live tour. We know there's been with you. There's been some beef recently with Austin Theory. But who are you going to be going up against on Sunday? Do you know yet?
I'm not sure yet. Okay. I know everything is card subject to change. There is a couple different possibilities. It's one of those things where you might just have to show up to find out.
I see how that works.
I dig now. I've spoken to Meatball about this. I feel like right now has to be the most exciting time to be a professional wrestler. You know just how important the independent scene is, and I feel there's way more respect for the independent promotions now than ever before.
Yeah, there definitely should be. There's so much incredible talent out there. A lot of guys that you watch on television anymore all came from the indies. Mm-hmm. And I think being able to support your local independents, go out and see those shows locally, I think it's like seeing a rock band before they sign their big record deal. You can say that I saw this guy when he was performing in front of 10 people. I saw this guy when he was performing in front of 15 people. And now he's performing in front of 15,000 in arenas. So I think that's the cool thing about the indies is you can get in the ground floor a lot of these acts.
You know, with this recent rise in competition, I have to imagine it's got everyone feeling, really excited and wanting to put even more, into what they're doing in the business right now.
I mean, definitely, yeah. Competition makes everyone better, and it's just good for wrestling in general. And what's good for wrestling is good for wrestlers, and what's good for wrestlers is good for wrestling fans. And I think that's the beauty of what everything's going on right now.
Sure, absolutely. Now, there's also been, some changes as of late in the WWE. Do you feel maybe there might be some room to WWE opening up that proverbial forbidden door, I guess, for talent coming in to work with the superstars with WWE, even if it's just temporary?
I mean, you never know, honestly. I can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, if you would have said that things are going the way they're going now a year ago, people would have said this is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think anything can happen in wrestling. We've learned that all throughout the years. I wouldn't say no to it. Obviously, I think the possibilities are absolutely endless. And I think if it works out for everyone, I think it'd be fantastic.
Totally. And you got your start. We were talking about the independents in your hometown in Ohio, the promotion Absolute Intense Wrestling. I was actually lucky enough to do commentary for a few years for the local promotion here, IPW in Kalamazoo. That's run by Josh Raymond. And working with dudes like, Ren Jones, Jason Page, Jack Price, dudes who are up and coming, and also worked with Gregory Iron as well, who you at one time had a super bitter rivalry with.
Yeah. He's also the best man in my wedding, though, so I mean, it's a little different.
That's right. How huge was that rivalry in the resolution of your career? It
was one of my first big rivalries, honestly, and it's also one of those things where when that video went up on YouTube, and we did that, the whole angle for the TV show that was on locally in Cleveland at the time. It's one of those things, too, where that station went all over the world if you had a certain sports package. So there'd be people from, Hawaii or from, Alaska or from all over the world mentioning and talking to me about this angle I did with Gregory Iron. And it's so weird because it's just a local Cleveland indie, but the outreach was so big. So it was huge for me in my development as well because it got my name out there so much at a very early age.
And another thing that I really dig too, because you're one of my favorite wrestlers in NXT, but also Tommaso Ciampa as well. You guys just tore it down week after week, and that's got to be another special and kind of a relationship that you have in the ring with that guy as well.
Oh, definitely. I think it doesn't matter what I do for the rest of my career. I think that me and Tommaso Ciampa will always be linked, whether we're friends, whether we're foes. I think if you think of Johnny Gargano, you're going to think of Tommaso Ciampa and vice versa. Yeah. And I think very much so in a similar vein of you think of Shawn Michaels, you think of Triple H, you think of Triple H, you think of Shawn Michaels. So I think it's one of those things where he will always and forever be my sort of wrestling soulmate, it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as you kind of rose up the ranks from the indie levels up to now the main roster on WWE, each one of those steps, what was it like, walking down that entrance ramp at the next level every single time?
Yeah, it's a grind, man. But it's one of those things where I always believed I'd be here. So it was in my head to where, okay, this is the step I have to take to get to this next step, and then this next step is the step I need to take to get to this next step.
Yeah.
So I always believed in myself. I think that is very important because obviously, given guys like me coming from the indies, given my size, I'm always going to be looked down upon in a certain way. People are only going to see the things I don't have and not going to focus on the things I do have.
Right.
So that's always a mountain I'm going to have to climb. But I think if you believe in yourself, you can make anything you want happen in this life if you just work hard enough and you're willing to sacrifice for it.
I agree. And, I think that's kind of an old mentality, too, where professional wrestling is, just for monster athletes. And really, it's an athletic sport, which deserves a lot of respect. And again, you're seeing more inclusion now than ever, which I love, because wrestling is one of those things that regardless of your personal beliefs and everything, you can come together and enjoy this one thing together. And I love the inclusion and talking about that, too. Jumping forward, now that you're on the main roster, do you have your sights on your first main roster title? Where you see your career going from here?
That's tough. When I came back, I said that I had my sights set on a lot of things I didn't have a chance to do yet. When I was younger, I dreamed of being Intercontinental Champion. I dreamed of being United States Champion. I dreamed of being Tag Champion, WWE Champion. I dreamed of wrestling at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And whereas I've been in WWE for 6 years, I haven't had a chance to do that stuff yet. So that was always in the back of my mind when I was off. Is that that's still, I couldn't retire and not feel like I didn't give this a real shot.
True.
And I think those are always at the top of my head. Obviously, those are things I dreamed of being when I was younger, and I'd love to make those things come true.
Speaking of those dreams that maybe you had when you were younger, and now that you're in wrestling, is there anyone in particular that you would love to go either back and forth with one day in the ring, maybe somebody you didn't have a chance to, or maybe somebody coming up that you would love to have a match with?
I mean, someone I didn't have a chance to would probably be obvious answer Shawn Michaels.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other possibilities that are very possible now, Seth Rollins is a big one. AJ Styles is a big one. Guys, I wrestled those guys on the indies already, but not on a big stage. And I think having those matches on the big stage are a dream match for a lot of people out there, and I think we'll be able to make that happen one day. But also, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, got a lot of guys that I haven't wrestled yet on Raw and SmackDown on that big arena stage.
Now, on the live shows with WWE, they are a little different than, SmackDown and Raw and the big ones you get to see on TV and the pay-per-views and stuff, but I have seen a couple of these live shows, and it just seems like there's a totally different but more engaging energy in these live in-person shows. Can you kind of comment to that?
100%. I feel like you still get to see the banger matches. The matches are still amazing, but you don't have the constraints of, say, a TV show where you need to focus on the TV audience out there. You need to focus on cameras and whatnot. You can more engage with the audience in the crowd. So it gives you more time and more room to kind of be more free form and also, interact. You can straight up have a conversation with someone in the front row if you want.
Right.
So I think that's the fun thing. So if you're going to one of these live shows, you're going to get a chance to interact with your favorite performers, and that's just, you don't really get that anywhere else.
Right. Now, would you say that these live shows are like a perfect blending of what, somebody who would go to an indie show, those indie markets and see that up close interaction, but still get that big show energy? Like, would you say this is kind of that perfect blend, like in the middle ground there?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, 100%. That I think that's a good example of it. It is like a larger scale indie show as far as the audience participation and interaction goes, but it's also got the WWE budget, so it's it's larger than life in itself as well. But it's a perfect blend of both those worlds.
I love it.
Yeah, you've been on the grind for a while, man. Before we let you go, there's a lot of up-and-coming wrestlers I know in Southwest Michigan. If you could give any particular advice for them, what would it be coming up into the industry?
Yeah, don't take no for an answer. I'm living proof.
Yeah.
WWE told me no. WWE said there wasn't a spot for me in NXT. And here I am 6 years later. I'm the first Triple Crown champion. I won all the titles. I have more takeovers than anyone. I kind of be in the face of that brand. So I guess that's living proof right there. that if you work hard, if you try to be a good person, you treat everyone kindly, I think you'll get exactly what you want out of all this. Just never stop being a fan either. That's my other big thing, and the piece of advice I always give is never stop being a fan. Because when you stop being a fan, this doesn't become fun. It becomes work, and it shouldn't be work. It helps you treat people the way you should be treated, if you remember what it was like to be a fan. So always keep that in mind.
Fantastic. Well, we're not going to hold it against you that you're from Ohio while you're here. We're just looking forward. We're just looking forward to seeing you guys.
It's only 3 hours away. Come on.
Well, this Sunday, the WWE Holiday Live Tour. It's at the Wings Event Center. Tickets start at just $20. Seth frickin' Rollins, Austin Theory for the U.S. title, Bianca Belair, Bayley for the Raw Championship. Of course, you got The Miz, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and the one and only Johnny Gargano, and many others are going to be there to tear it down. Johnny, it was a serious honor to have you on. Thank you for the many, many hours of entertainment, for giving so much to the businessman, and we wish you the best of health and a great holiday.
Thank you, guys. See you this Sunday.
I will see you, man.
Looking forward to it, brother.
Live weekday mornings from 6 to 10 and on demand in the Rocker app. It's the best of the Rocker Morning Show on 107.7 RKR.